Welcome back to reveurovision. This is part two of our semi-final one prediction video. The first half is in the link up there. You might be able to see it, whichever side it's on. You can watch that for our song predictions for Lithuania, Slovenia, Russia, Sweden, Australia, North Macedonia, Ireland, and Cyprus. But the other 8 songs, the second half of the first semi, we'll be previewing in this video. So do stick with us. Do we think these songs will be qualifying? Let's find out. Let's review Eurovision. So what about Norway? I noticed in the comments we had quite a few people not agreeing with our criticism of the Norwegian song. Fallen Angel by Tix. Will it be in the final on Saturday, Emily?
Well, the criticism can continue to come because I don't think it will be in the final on Saturday. I mean, they basically just kind of copied and pasted the national final staging, except Tix's outfit has got more tacky by being more kind of bedazzled. And yeah, I just think, I mean, I don't like the song anyway. I think the staging is tacky and I don't think people will kind of appreciate it. I don't really kind of have anything more to say on it.
So it's a non-qualifier for Emily. I still am not really a fan of it. I think after people have pointed out what the meaning behind it is, which I'd sort of misinterpreted. I mean, it's a valiant effort with the meaning, and good for you for writing a song about it. I think it's still not my cup of tea. That said, I think it is kitsch enough to go through, and there's nothing in this semi that is quite as outlandish as that. And there's nearly always something like it that qualifies, something that's just so mad that people are like, oh yeah, that's good. I remember the one with the wings, wasn't that crazy? And I think that ticks the box in this semi of, isn't it mad? Let's vote for it. So I think, against my better judgment, I think this is going through. I don't think it deserves to, but I think it will. James.
Yeah, I mean, let the critics continue, because I'm still sticking like Emily with my sort of my view of it. I think, in my head, it would be not falling from the sky but falling out of the competition. I think it's awful. I've tried to look into the sort of meaning behind it, but I just can't get it. Nevertheless, I still think, like Jack, it will go through. I don't want it to. I don't think it deserves to be there, but I think it will, because I think it is outlandish. It's very over the top. It's very Eurovision in a way. And I think that tends to do well. But yeah, I mean, it pains me to say it, but I think it will go through. But maybe, though, I think it might only just scrape through. I think it'll be one of those ones that just about crawls in, and then probably does all from the night, because it will.
Well, we seem to be in tandem here, James. We've agreed on all of our choice.
Good taste. That's what it's called.
Well, it is. Well, you still thought Denmark was good, so we're not too sure about that. Let's carry on. Let's sort of chivvy on a little bit, because we've taken the time to discuss them. How about Croatia then? Tick-Tock by Albina. The costume choices they're something, but will they stand out, Emily?
They'll stand out. I'm not necessarily sure it'll be for the right reasons. For me, the costume kind of really lets the song down. It makes it kind of seem like a bit of a joke and really kind of weirdly like tacky, futuristic-y. And I think the problem is, like we said, there are quite a lot of other similar songs to this, like El Diablo, like Israel, like Azerbaijan. And I think this will get kind of squeezed out by those, especially with kind of naff staging. Yeah, so for me, Croatia I don't think it'll make the final.
Yeah, I wasn't very sold on the song anyway. I think it's really lacks personality, and it's very impersonal. I think there's nothing, like, anybody could be singing it. It doesn't matter that it's her particularly. I think she performs it with a level of charisma which I wasn't quite expecting and wasn't getting across in the video particularly. But I do echo your feeling that it's a singer with 4 backing dancers, and in this half of the semi, there's Cyprus doing it, there's Israel doing it, there's Azerbaijan doing it, there's Malta doing it. She's one of 5 songs in a half an hour section that have got her, a singer, and 4 people. And of those 4, this stands out the least. I think it's just not as, the song's not as good. So people are going to get relatively sick of seeing the same sort of thing over and over again, and I don't think she'll stand out. That said, I don't think she'll qualify, but I have noticed I've only actually put 9 songs through, so I will revisit at the end, and this is one that might squeeze in, but for now I'm saying no. James, are you going to agree with me again? Get your own opinions, we're the same.
You're going to be sorry you said that now, because I absolutely love it still, and I'm 100% sure it'll go through. I think I said about it in the video before, I love this song. It was my number 6 originally. And I just think it's very catchy. I think at the time I almost compared it to Dua Lipa-ish. Actually watching the Jack's face. Actually, well, no, I think actually watching, this is probably even more sort of left field now, watching the rehearsal footage they've released, it reminds me, I don't know if you've seen it, of sort of Celine Dion when she's doing a concert, because she's got this sort of like white outfit on, or white silvery outfit, and it's quite simple staging. I get that. It's sort of like, you know, watching, I don't know, a phone signal going through cables at the back with just these lights flashing across. But I just like it. There's something about it, and I think it's quite catchy. It's a bit of an earworm, and I think that's what will set it apart. I mean, I could be completely wrong, which wouldn't surprise me, but I really like it. There's something about it that I think it'll do well.
It's broad optimism there. You're the outlier on that. You're the only one that thinks that's going through. What about Belgium, though? The Wrong Place by Hooverphonic. Very, very dark staging. Lots of eyes and close-ups. It's an interesting one. Do you think Belgium will be going through, Emily?
I'm disappointed with the staging for this one. I really like the song, but I think the staging lets it down. I think, like you said, the eye is kind of creepy. And it's like, I kind of struggle because I'm not sure what else they could have done with the staging, but for me, it is disappointing. And I think, I mean, again, I don't know what else they'd have put the lead singer in, but a kind of a black pencil dress. It's not for me, I don't think it'll qualify based on what they've done with the staging. I like the song. I think the song deserves to qualify, but based on the staging, it doesn't. So I feel kind of quite disappointed with this one. It's too understated for Eurovision, in my opinion.
No, I'll echo all of that. It's one of my favourite songs of the year and still is, but this is the staging exactly what I predicted. It's nothing radically different from what I had in mind. It's dark, it's classy, and it's classic as well. It could almost be at any point in Eurovision's history, and it is the song. It does let the song stand out, but in such a showy semi-final, when you've got people on either side of you that are just all guns blazing and there's costume, this I think will struggle, and it pains me to say it because I would love to so much to see it in the final, but yeah, it's the staging that we expected. And that staging was never going to go through, I don't think. So I would love to see it in. And I think it will do very well with the juries. But will a televoter vote for it? Probably not. How about you, James? What do you think?
Well, I'd say less dark and classy and more dark and crappy. I really don't like it. Like, I just think it seems absolutely awful. It's like Paloma Faith with a cold trying to rehearse. It's awful. I can't stand it. Like, I can't get into it. I mean, I didn't like it very much before, so I feel like it's just sort of cemented that I was right all along, and that she's not up for it, I'm afraid. I mean, you know, usually I like to champion that sort of act, but no, I just can't get behind it. Really can't.
Oh, it was a bit harsh, but anyway. So they're not convinced about Belgium's chances of qualifying. We all agree that it's going to stay in the semi, very sadly. What about Israel, though? Eden Elaine with Set Me Free. It's one of our most popular videos on this channel, but do we think it'll qualify? Emily?
Yes, I do think it'll qualify because it is such a kind of bop, and they would have had to have had a real disaster with the staging for it not to qualify. That said, I do feel kind of slightly disappointed by what we've seen so far. I don't think the kind of the dress that they've got her in particularly kind of, I think they could have done better, essentially. And I'm not too keen on all the kind of neon writing in the kind of in the background. But that said, the song's good. She can sing. She hit all those high notes, which we love to see. So yeah, for me it qualifies, but slightly disappointed with what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I think it will qualify because it's catchy enough. But I was before I thought top 5 in the semi was a possibility. Now I'm more of the opinion that it will sort of squeak in. I think it will sort of sit around 8th or 9th. Because I don't think the staging matches the song at all. And I remember saying in the video, in the review video, that what was so good about the video and the revamp is that whoever made the video and directed it clearly knows Eden so well, because every angle, every costume, every bit of choreography fits her to a T. And it shows she is absolutely the star of the show in the video. So why haven't they done that here? I feel like the futuristic, the getting her to wear that hideous black lace dress. I mean, what the heck is that? It's ugly as heck. And she's not an ugly person at all. She wore really nice things in the video. Why haven't they got the video outfits here? She looks like a prostitute rather than somebody who is sultry and who is sort of body confident and knows what she can do. It's the complete wrong vibe for it. And I think that the song will take it through. Staging, I'm really let down, and I think they've badly misjudged this. I don't think it works with the song at all, but it will sneak through probably. James, what about you?
So this is Israel, yeah? Yeah. Well, the reason I say that is because you remember I put it as my number 3. As it currently stands, I don't see it going through, to be quite honest with you. I think, like Jack said then, the music video I absolutely loved. It was very individual. It was just sort of, I don't know, it was really quite upbeat. I loved it. But looking at like the first sort of rehearsal stuff and things, it just feels like the song's gone. Like it seems like a totally different feeling. And I don't quite know how they've done that. I'm hoping that when we see more of it, it will sort of come together a bit more. Maybe the stuff they've released just doesn't do it justice. But for the most part, I'm just really disappointed. Like, honestly, I think back in the video, I was raving about it, saying how much I loved it. And now all of a sudden, it sort of died a death. So, yeah, that really makes me scared. I just don't know. I don't think she'd be able to go through. I don't think people will back her.
So it's not on your list of 10 then. Shocker, considering it was so high up in your original ranking. But we'll see 4 songs left in a semi. Romania, Roxanne with Amnesia. The music video looks quite similar to the staging by the looks of things, but will it stand out enough? Emily?
This is another one where I've kind of slightly changed my opinion since the video. I think in our video I said, oh, it could go through, it might not, it might. Now I'm more on kind of, I don't think it will. I think the rehearsal that we've seen, it's not, I get that it was kind of a first rehearsal, so, you know, there's lots of work that can be done. But for me, it kind of was nowhere near as polished at this point as it kind of needs to be for what it is, like a week and a bit time, essentially. Yeah, I just feel quite kind of disappointed with it. I thought she kind of looked, I get that there is kind of meant to be like this frantic element, but it looked like she kind of wasn't trying, which I think is a bit disappointing. But yeah, for me, it's kind of dropped off a bit, and I don't think it'll get through to the final.
Yeah, I had this caveat in the original video. I really liked it. I think it was my number 12 or something. And I remember saying, I think I said it at least, that I, on reflection, would have had it a little bit higher. But the caveat I included was it's in a batch of the draw that is just energy. It's got Israel on one side, Azerbaijan on the other, and then immediately after Azerbaijan, you've got Ukraine and Malta. Like, it's as a final section of the show, musically, it's so energetic, and this was always going to be the sort of the lull in it. And the way they could have got out of that was with a really, really solid staging. And I never got the music video, really. It was I like it a lot more when I listen to it rather than watch it. So it's a bit of a strange and disappointing decision to do a version of the music video on the Eurovision stage, because it was messy. She was just faffing around with people dragging her and picking her up and all that. And somebody singing, I'm not a singer by any means, but if you're being picked up and hoisted around and doing acrobatics, your vocals are going to suffer. So it's a weird decision, and I think it's all very dark, and she's dressed like she's just come from, I don't know, a morgue or something. It's real shame, and they've taken a song that could have gone through, and I think it's going to crash out, and it's going to do a lot worse than people are saying. I think 14th or 15th out of 16 in the semi is very much a possibility here, because people are just not going to remember it. It is a shame, but yeah, it's not going through for me. So Emily had to go, essentially, to go and get food. I'm not going to lie. She was hungry and she had to go and get food. So you're going to see a costume change in just a moment, because we recorded the rest of it on a different day. But all of our predictions from before are still valid. So costume change, and just like that, we've changed our outfits. It's a new day. It's fine. Emily is now on a train instead of getting food. But, it's fine. All of our predictions still run over. So we interrupted you, James, just as you were about to give your views on Romania. Do you think it will be going through?
No, I don't think it'll be going through. I think it's awful. I think, judging by the sound alone, the sound quality, I just don't like it. It's one of those ones I really can't get behind, and I don't think the public will either, to be quite honest with you. So, sadly, I don't think it'll be the one.
So we're all in agreement there that Romania will be sitting out of the final. Third failure to qualify in a row, it would be. We'll see if Roxanne makes it through. How about Azerbaijan? Efendi with Matahari. Third from the end of the show. Pretty good running order. Will it be going through? Emily, live on a train.
Yeah, hopefully the hotspot holds up. Yes, I do think Azerbaijan will be going through. I kind of liked a lot of what we saw from the rehearsal. I do like the background that they've got. I do think they could have done more slightly dancers and what Efendi is wearing, but I don't think that'll kind of have too much of an impact. But yeah, I still like the song. She sounded great live, so yeah, no problems there.
Wonderful. So one of your 10 qualifiers then. It's also one of my 10. I think it's staging-wise, it's exactly what I was expecting. It's exactly the type of thing that they needed to do to stand out, because visually, I don't think there's that much that's like it. And with Romania on one side and Ukraine on the other, sort of sound-wise as well, it does stand out. So I think she will. I hope she gives it a little bit of energy, because she's not the most dancey person in the world. So I hope she sort of actually does give some life to it, because that will make it pop just a little bit more. But yeah, it's a pretty good space in the running order. It'll stand out. I don't see any situation where this isn't going through, to be honest. How about you, James?
Well, I'm sure the viewers will remember this is my numero uno. So my sort of 12 points, if you like. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. I still do now, even after seeing the rehearsal footage. I think it looks like everything I wanted and more, to be honest. It's got really cool sort of staging. It's got a little bit of dancing that we're seeing. I'm hoping we see more of that. And the vocals sound really good too. I think she is one of the ones that really is sounding quite good live. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that everyone gets behind her and that she smashes it, because I think she will. And I think it'll be the winner.
You think it'll be the winner of the semi-final or the whole thing?
I would have to guess at both, to be quite honest.
That's quite a bold claim. We'll see if that holds out in the end. So yeah, all praise for Azerbaijan there. All three of us say that's going through. 2 songs left though. Ukraine is the first of those, with Goe and their song, what's it called again? Shum, that's the one. Will Ukraine be going through? Emily, you first.
Yes, and I do think it's quite interesting that actually Ukraine, after their kind of rehearsal video has come out, they've actually kind of risen in the bookies' favourites, and they've kind of gone into that kind of top 10. I thought what we've seen, it was kind of hectic and mad, which is exactly kind of what we wanted from this song, and I do think it'll kind of stand out. I was maybe kind of concerned about how she would sound live, but I think she sounded absolutely fine from what we heard. So yeah, for me, I think it'll be a qualifier, no kind of question about it, really.
Yeah, same here with me. Again, I think it's one of the 10. I was also slightly concerned about her live vocals because in 2020, when they won the Ukrainian national final with Solovey, her vocals were a bit pitchy, and I was not convinced she was much of a live performer. She seems to have either worked on it or this song disguises it quite well. I didn't detect any noticeable audio problems in the performance that she did or in the first rehearsal. Staging wise, I was more expecting like a red sort of tinge to it rather than neon green. But the neon green does stand out because there's a lot of pinks and blues this year. There's not that much green. Or certainly that shade of green. So I think there's nothing that looks quite like it this year. Only reservation I have is that sort of slightly psychedelic look to it with the really bright green and the sort of the white shadow outline things reminds me a little bit of Latvia 2017. And that didn't go down very well at all, and it came last in the semi. So I hope, I don't think this will share the fate of Latvia 2017, but that was really divisive, and it ended up on the wrong side of doing well. This, I think, will probably go through because the running order is in its favour. It's distinctive enough, but yeah, I think I have slight reservations about whether it'll come top 3, for instance. James, up to you.
I think it'll do really well, I've got to be honest. I mean, the viewers probably remember that I really enjoyed this. I think I put it as my number 5 originally. Really, really good. And I mean, the way I looked at it, seeing the rehearsal footage, I just think it's wonderfully chaotic. Pretty much sums up my life. I just think it's one of those things where it's a bit mad, it's a bit nuts at times, but at the same time, it's also the type of song that I'd be bopping to on the dance floor, in a nightclub at 3 a.m. in the morning. So I really like it. I think, actually, what you were saying, Jack, I think I quite like this sort of neon element of it. I think it stands out. And I think, to me, it harks that sort of, this is going to sound really bizarre, that radioactive element, if you like, because obviously we saw the music video in Chernobyl. And I think that's probably their way of transferring that to the stage without, doing something that would probably be looked down as being quite bad. So I think that's probably what we'll get the vibe from when we see the whole thing. But I mean, I love them as well because they released that behind the scenes video where they actually went to Chernobyl. And I think all of this combining is building up a really strong stance for them. And I think they could do really quite well. So I think they'll sail through the semis. And I think they could do quite well in the final too.
Again, we're all in agreement on that one. I would just add actually that Ukraine song has grown on me quite a lot since we did the review of it. I've listened to it a bit more, and I liked it anyway, but I get it now, and I enjoy it a lot more than I did. So I would like to see it through, regardless, definitely. So yeah, all in agreement on Ukraine. The closing song in the semi-final though is Malta, Je me casse by Destiny. Yeah, she was the huge favourite to win the whole thing. It then slipped down the odds a little bit after this rehearsal. Slightly divisive costumes in hot pink, but has it damaged their qualification chances, Emily?
I don't think it's damaged their qualification chances, but I do think it's damaged their chances of winning the whole contest because obviously, like you said, she was favourite going into the rehearsals. And I don't know why they put them all in hot pink when the song is so kind of like almost Charleston-y 1920s, and especially with the backing dancers. Oh, have I cut out? No, they're not found. Am I all right? You guys are close. Anyway, carry on. Yeah, for me, I just don't understand why they've put them all in bright pink. I think it makes the song kind of tacky and makes it seem childish, which I think is a real shame. I understand that because she's kind of young, maybe that's what they were kind of doing with it, but yeah, I feel kind of quite disappointed with what we've seen. Yeah, but I still think it'll qualify.
Yeah, I'll echo all of that. I think it's definitely going to qualify. It probably will still win the semi, maybe come second. But I think, yeah, the staging is not at all what I was expecting. What I'm hoping is that there's a lot of sort of camera trickery and it looks good on camera, and we haven't seen that yet, obviously, but certainly based on the costumes, I mean, the costumes are really not good. And it doesn't suit Destiny at all. Like, it's just not, it's not that it's not flattering, but it's that it just doesn't, she's classier than that. You know what I mean? In the music video, she was wearing these amazing outfits that fit her just perfectly and fit her personality and the vibe she was giving off. But it is childish. And I'm glad they've not gone down the circus route that they could have done because of the sort of vaudeville Charleston-y thing. But then they've got the tackiness of this. It looks like they've sort of forgot their costumes and went to the airport nearest, the nearest fashion place in the airport. I think they are a mistake. I hope they change the costumes, because that is not a Eurovision winning performance, and that is not a Eurovision winning outfit by any means. It's almost as if they were shocked how well received the performance was and then decided they didn't want it to win. I don't see this now as the winner that I did. But yeah, I think this will definitely go through, and it will be Malta's best placing for a very, very long time. Is it the winner? As it stands, I don't think it is. James?
I'd say actually I'd go a step further than what you're saying there, Jack, and I'd say that it was not flattering, to be quite honest. And I think that's because I think it feels like it's underprepared and underproduced in a way. It's just like, like you said, really, both of you, it did so well. I love the music video, and I thought they could really stand out in the competition if they did a sort of Peaky Blinders inspired routine where they were all dressed up in the sort of 20s garb, and a bit of Charleston on the stage and stuff. That would be something that Eurovision, as far as I'm aware, hasn't really seen, at least not for a long time. So to me, that would have done really well, and I do get that impression now. You sort of said it, where it does feel as if like they've sort of gone, well, we've had this success, we need to just shoot ourselves in the foot, because why else would you go from this classy video to hot pink? Like, it just doesn't go. And I think, I don't know, my estimations have really gone down with it. I think it will qualify. Whether or not it'll do well, sorry, there's a train coming. It's not you, Emily, is it? Damn. But no, I think, it will qualify, but I don't think it'll do very well, to be quite honest, apart from that. I think they've got missed opportunity, really, which is a shame.
Yeah, I think missed opportunity is is probably the way to put it. I think it is a little bit of a disappointment, but hopefully they're taking some of the feedback on board. It was only the first rehearsal. Fingers crossed they can sort of salvage it. And the way to salvage it is by getting new costumes. So we all agree on that. So Emily's got her 10. James has got his 10. I noticed midway through that I've only put 9 down. So I've had a bit of a think. And I've added Croatia to the mix, because even though I don't like the song and I still think it's quite cheap and personalityless, by the looks of things, the staging is quite impressive and it will be quite memorable. The outfit's really not convinced about. I don't think it'll do particularly well in the final, because there's a lot of, as we've said, man or woman with 4 or 5 backing dancers. And I feel like this is, by some distance, the worst of those that there will be in the final. So I don't think it'll do particularly well, but I think it will sneak in. That's my prediction. So as you can see on the left of the screen, those are our 10 that we've selected. We're going to go one final time round. Is there if there's an extra one that we think could sneak in, which one do we think it is? Emily?
If we're sneaking in, my hope is that it's Belgium, but I'm not convinced it will be.
So Belgium there. What about you, James?
I think for me, it's probably going to be Australia, because I didn't put Australia through, and I do realise that I think a lot of people will get behind it, even though I can't stand it. So I think that was the one for me. Just me.
Yeah, and again, for me, I think it's the same as Emily. I'd love to see Belgium go through. If it does, it'll sneak in with the juries. I think it'll probably do quite well with the juries. The televote, I don't see it doing all that well with. but when you add them together, it may just squeak in. I hope. I really, really do, because I think, again, the final will be better for it. So that's what we think. Those are our 10 qualifiers. The first semi-final is on Tuesday, the 18th of May. Whatever country you're in, do try and give it a watch if possible. It promises to be an amazing show. Second rehearsals are going to begin very, very soon, so we'll get a bit of a better look at how the show is going to be constructed. For now, though, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, if you agree with us, like, follow, subscribe, do all of that. If you subscribe, hit the bell notification. You'll get notified every time we upload new content. We're going to be doing another one of these sets of videos very soon, previewing the second semi-final. We'll be recording that very, very soon indeed, so do keep an eye out for that. We've also got some final reviews to come out. Watch out for those as well. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.